Good evening. Welcome to this episode of Across the Desk with Pastor Clark. I'm Pastor Clark, your friend, your brother, and your Facebook pastor. Thank you for tuning in. Call your neighbor, call your friends, call your aunt, call your uncle, call your grandmama, call your granddaddy, call your cousin, call your best friend, call everybody. Let them know that Pastor Clark is on there. I'm not going to be in here long. Something I seen on the internet that I had to come out here and talk about. I'm going to do a podcast that's different from the ones that I normally do. So I want to talk about this Bishop Dwight Reed, the 60 something year. I think he's 68 or 63, not for sure. But he married a 19-year-old, 18-year-old girl. And I want to see how you guys feel about that. It's time some of this nonsense these pastors doing. It's time for it to stop. Time for them to be held accountable for the things that we do. We get away with a whole lot, and it's time for it to be held accountable. Anyway, before I get into that, I want to talk about today. I had to go out to the grocery store and pick up a few items. My wife was a little under the weather, so I went to the store to pick up her few items. And when I returned home from Harrison Teeter, I noticed I didn't have my wallet. I've been home probably 10 minutes before I noticed I didn't have it. And I began to panic and around. I said, "Where's my wallet?" And I looked all in my office desk and everywhere. Then went out to the Jeep and looked all through the Jeep. Didn't see my wallet anywhere. And I began to think. I said, "Well, I had to have it when I was in Harrison Teeter because I paid for the food that I got." So I went back to Harris Teeter, and when I came in the door, I just knew. I had about $200 in my wallet, and maybe $210 to $15, something like that, and I knew my money would be gone if I found my wallet. I was more concerned about my bank card and my different things like that that's in my wallet, and I knew if I found my wallet, the cash was going to be gone. And so when I come into the store, I went to the customer service counter, and the manager wasn't there, so I looked around and he was over talking to a cashier. I say, "Sir," I got his attention. I say, "Sir, by the way, did anybody happen to turn in a black wallet?" They said, "Yes, they did." He said, "What name?" I said, "Timothy Clark." He said, "Hold on just a minute." So he had me to walk back over to the customer service counter with him. He said, "Hold up right here for a few minutes." So I waited. He went back into the little room, and he stayed back there for a minute or two. And they came out. I said, "Sir, must have still some good people." I said, "Yeah," he said, "Still some good people around." I said, "Well, thing." I looked in it, and I saw the money was in there. But one thing I noticed, my money is never in my wallet neat. My money was spread it out neat in my wallet. I just stuff money down in there. My wife says she's surprised I just drop money out of it because I just have money balled up all kind of spots down in my wallet. Anyway, remember I told you I had about $200 in there. So when I get home, I counted and it was about $6 short. And I didn't even matter. I wasn't even tripping on that. I mean, he could have told me I'm keeping $6 for fine to return, and I'd have been just as happy. And he could have kept 100. I'd have been. If it wasn't even about the money, it was about my bank card and other stuff that I had in there. And there been a while. I just thank God for that I got it back. I thank God that I was able to get it back. Now back to this the Dwight Reed, this Bishop Dwight Reed. I think he's from Iowa, somewhere like that. The brother married a 18-year-old, 19-year-old little girl. And I saw last night on YouTube where he responded to all the allegations that's going out about him, and he said that the church has a school, and I saw where the little girl went to the school, and he was been grooming her since she was 14 years old, and I saw him say in his response that he was a protector of the kids. The kids loved him at that school. He was a protector, and I say, yeah, protector sounded to me more like Chester the molester, if you call that a protector, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he was talking about how much he looked out for people, and a lot of the families that go to the school now, they can't even afford to pay the tuition for the school, but they still allow them to come. And he talked about how much good he did, how much good that his father did before he died. He went on to talk about, but one thing about that I realized in the book of Romans, I think the 14th chapter and the 16th verse, it says, Don't let your good be evil spoken of. You know, all the good stuff that he said he did. When he took initiatives to marry this young baby, nobody saw the good anymore. They could only see the bad. Now I'm wondering, is that really bad? Because I know my grandfather probably 40 or 45 years older than my grandmother, but that was back in those days. And that's not flying in this day and time. You know, he married one of our babies. You know, she's 18 or 19, but she looked to be about 14. And I asked my wife, I wonder what they talk about that night, laying in the bed. What they talk about after hard. Pastor, you know, after we don't had a hard day at church, we come home, we unwind to our wife how our day been to get some of the stress off of us. You know, I wonder what he talk about. I wonder if she ready to be a first lady or a first girl, I should call her. And it made me go. My mind went back to when I first moved to Virginia and moved into my apartment as getting there. And I remember early the next morning, I came outside, and I'm in a new area. This is to get some air. I came outside. And when I came out, it was an older guy that lived on the apartment on top of me. He came down and came and spoke and introduced himself. And I introduced myself. And he said, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm a pastor." He looked at me and said, "Well, I know I can't trust you." And that bothered me. And I remember talking to one of the other neighbors that said, well, he was from New York, and say that he went to some kind of boarding school in New York, and the priest there, whatever, somebody that they molested him as a child. And he hold that over every pastor, any clergyman, anybody that calls have anything to do with Jesus, for the pastor, preacher, bishop, whatever. He look at you the same way he remember about these people that did what they did to him. You know, so that's why I ask the leaders, we have to be very careful of what we do, because a lot of time when we get people to come to Christ, we come to church, we be the only Christ they see for a moment. We be Christ in a lot of people's lives for a moment. They have to see us before they can see Christ. And so that's why we have to be very careful what we do. And we know we're going to make mistakes. But I truly believe that it should be an association, a board of elders, of preachers, that hold other preachers accountable for some of the stuff we read about. And it don't have to be a part of your denomination. It should be an association of preachers that can come across denominations or whatever, you know, hold whatever pastor do what accountable when they make a mess. Like, yeah, I call this a mess. Make a mess like this. Stole that young girl life. And I thought maybe he married her to carry on the legacy of his parents. Maybe he's grooming her to carry, and until he made a response. But he made a response with such arrogancy. So his spirit really wasn't right. You know, he really didn't care what nobody thought about. He was gonna do what he wanted to do. He wanted to marry that little baby, and that's what he did. And somebody should be held accountable. And I just want to know what you guys think about it. If you hadn't seen it, go on YouTube, go on Instagram. It's all over everywhere. Go check it out. See it for yourself. And after you see it, drop me a note. Make a comment and let me know what you think about it. His name is Bishop Dwight Reed. You can put in the bishop who married the young girl. You put that in there and it'll come right up. And go look at it for yourself, you guys, man, and tell me what you think about it. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Across the Desk with Pastor Clark. And I hope you have had a great week. Hope you're going to have an even greater weekend. Tomorrow is supposed to be another nice sunny day. And I hope you get out and enjoy the nice weather. And if you hadn't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go subscribe to my channel, push the like button, and let me know that you watch the podcast. Let me know that you support it, that you watch it. If you hadn't done it or not, if you already pushed the subscribe button, thank you. But if you hadn't, go to my YouTube channel, Across Desk with Pastor Clark, and push the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, and may God bless you, and heaven smile upon you. Remember now, Bishop Dwight Reed. Google it. Go look at that story and let me know what you think about it. Thank you and have a great night.